It's that time of the year for top 10 lists. Here we go. My top 10 worst movies of the year, or as I call them, my least favorite movies of the year. Some of these movies I flat out hated, some of them were just very disappointing, some of them were just bad films. I have 5 dishonorable mentions, but one of them is not really a dishonorable mention because I have fun with this film, so much so that I'm going to buy this film and watch it multiple times because it's so much fun to watch. It's so stupid. It's a bad movie, it's garbage, but it's so much fun to watch. So, let's get into it. My dishonorable mentions include Pet Sematary. I really liked the book. I liked the book. I read the book first because I knew that me and my friend were scheduling a time to go and see this movie in theaters. And, I watched the original first. I liked that one better. This one was just mediocre. I gave it a positive review, but the more that I think about it, am I ever going to watch this movie again? No, and when I wanted to rent it again, I thought about it, and I'm like, that was not a good movie. Miss Bala. I couldn't even tell you what the freaking plot of this movie was. This movie was so damn boring, it was ridiculous. Poorly shot action, piss poor acting. Happy Death Day to You. I love Happy Death Day. It's a good first movie. I enjoyed it for exactly what it's supposed to be. I think that one was an accident. I think they were trying to make a great horror franchise, and it failed. Blumhouse can make good movies. They have made good movies, by God. This one, however, was not one of their better ones. The Intruder. The Intruder is a fun one to sit down and just laugh at how stupid it is. Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid plays this guy who doesn't want to get rid of his house. He doesn't want to really give ownership of the house to this new married couple. And he's pretty much just stalking the place, and once they tell him to go away, he goes insane. And we all knew this was going to be on one of the lists, The Fanatic. The Fanatic was the movie I was talking about. The best, worst movie of the entire year is The Fanatic. It's not an all-out horrible movie. It's not like my top 10 where I was just either bored the whole entire time or everything about it was just terrible. The Fanatic is one that it is fun to watch. I did not hate my time in the theater watching this movie. I enjoyed watching a bad movie because I knew that it was going to be a bad movie, and I was the only one who thought it was a bad movie in my entire theater. Now let's get into my top 10 list. Number 10, we have Charlie's Angels. If you know me personally, you know that I was ranting and raving about these trailers. I loved the trailers. I was looking forward to it. I was high off of the Disney remake of Aladdin. I love that movie. I was high because of Naomi Scott. She was great as Jasmine. She had the powerful voice. She could act. Then I saw Charlie's Angels, and she's still good in it. The only thing that I had to say positive about it is that the soundtrack was kind of decent, and there was some good eye candy with the 3 actresses, and they did good jobs in it. But everything else was just so poorly shot, a poor story, very predictable twists and turns everywhere you look. I didn't like this movie at all. 47 Meters Down is number 9. 47 Meters Down, Uncaged. I was scared to go and see this movie because I don't like seeing bad movies. But I thought, you want to know what? I try and see everything. And when I saw Chris Stuckman put up his review, and I was really shocked to hear the words, there's a screaming fish in this movie. I'm like, I gotta see this. So, sure enough, I go there. There's like 10 people in the theater. And this girl's just looking at this fish, and it screams at her. It looks like you're watching an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. It's amazing. Jump scares out the ass, pretty piss poor shark CGI, and dumb decisions by characters. Number 8 is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, I just watched it today. I didn't like this movie whatsoever. A big letdown for me. I was looking forward to this film because of the trailers, but this also goes to show you, along with Charlie's Angels, good or what you think are good trailers, because I know a lot of people who did not like those Charlie's Angels trailers, but liked the movie or thought it was enjoyable. This movie was boring, cliched as hell, and not scary in the least. And the only reason I didn't give it an F is because of the practical effects and the CGI effects. But when you're in a horror movie, you want to be scared or at least tensed up a little bit, or at least enjoying it. But you couldn't even enjoy this movie, or I couldn't even enjoy this movie. Number 7 is Wonder Park. I had no interest in seeing this movie. This is a movie that I was dreading seeing because the trailers looked like ass. My parents thought that it would be an entertaining movie, but they have no taste in films. So when they think that a movie is good, it's just because it's a kid's movie, give it a B. That's not how reviewing works. No, 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 no. Now, some people actually like this movie. Kyle, you like this movie, bud. And more power to you. All film is subjective. If you liked Wonder Park or any of the rest of these movies, no hate towards you. This is just my personal list. There's no I'm right, you're wrong. I'm big, you're little. None of that Matilda shit. Number 6 is After. This girl goes to college and she has a boyfriend. And she meets this guy and they start a relationship. And it is the the romance movie that had no chemistry between any of the characters this year whatsoever. You knew what was going to happen when you didn't even read the book. It's one that is a piece of shit that if you like this piece of shit, then you like shit movies. This is one where you gotta admit, you will watch this movie, and you will watch this movie and just say, oh, it's so romantic. Oh, sure. A guy cheating on you is so romantic, but then you want to get back with him at the end of the movie because I love him. No bullshit. That's a movie. If you think that that's a romance story, you are wrong, and you are the people that made all 3 of the 50 Shades movies big hits. Now, I'm not saying that I hate those movies. Those movies are not good, but those are laughably bad movies that I can pop in and have a good old time with at laughing how stupid it is. By God, that ice cream scene in 50 Shades Freed is downright hilarious. Number 5 is Drunk Parents. Alec Baldwin, Salma Hayek. Need I say more? They're just playing parents, and something to do with their daughter's college fund. I can't even remember. This movie looked intriguing to me with the cast, and just because it has a good cast does not mean you're going to get gold. Number 4 is Arctic Dogs. Arctic Dogs. You probably don't even know what this movie is. Neither did anybody else, because this movie cost like $60 million to make. And it marketed the hell. They marketed the hell out of this on children's programming. I think they might have done a lot of stuff on YouTube and on Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Freeform. I think you might have seen it every once in a while on some other channel. But this movie did not make much money because no one knew what it was. It looked like a very low budget, Norm of the North style movie. And it's a kid's film that that's trying to give a good message about global warming and other things, but everything else about this film, the animation, the dialogue, the acting from Jeremy Renner, Heidi Klum, John Cleese is just shit. It is just shit. I don't know what else to say. This is a movie that should have been very entertaining, that anybody could have enjoyed this movie, and it felt like you were watching a Nickelodeon movie that aired on like a Friday night at 8 p.m. when you were 3 years old or something like that, and you just, ooh, look white! Those dogs are cute! Holy fuck! This movie was just pure shit. As were the rest of these. Number 3 is Swinging Safari. This was an indie movie that I got from my local library. I'm not doing the indie movies anymore from the library. The only indie movies that I'm doing is the ones that I get sent for review, and ones that look interesting, and I'm not reviewing just anything anymore. This movie was basically about this group of Australian parents in the 1970s that would get together for swingers night, and somehow it turns into this whale has washed up on the beach and everybody's upset about it. This movie is mean-spirited for no reason. It strays away from its actual purpose. You're thinking that it is going to be a movie kind of like, for instance, I have a movie. Is it down here? It's in my house somewhere, called A Good Old Fashioned Orgy with Jason Sudeikis. I thought it was going to be like that, a very self-aware, knowing what it is, with a decent little script and good laughs along the way, but it also has heart with it too. That's not what you got with this. You got some mean-spirited comedy that has no reason to be mean-spirited, terrible acting, and a subplot that has nothing to do with the rest of the movie, and that you don't care about because it comes out of fucking nowhere. We're down to the last 2. Number 2 is Ugly Dolls. Oh, holy shit. Oh, this movie was not good. There was one good joke in the trailer, and once you saw it over and over again while you're watching television, or when you couldn't skip an ad on YouTube, with Blake Shelton and the gibberish cat, that was the one good joke. I'm like, okay, fine. Now, of course, this movie is not made for me, but a lot of people hated this movie. Can you blame them? This movie is annoying. It has singing out the ass, and yes, you can say that Disney films have that too, but Disney knows when to put a song in and when not to put a song in. It knows how to do a good story. And they Toy Story 3 the shit out of this movie, too. You have a scene that's straight out of Toy Story 3. And it's just trying to teach kids, hey, just because you look different or you act different doesn't mean that you are any more special or less special than anybody else. You're perfect just the way you are, blah, 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 blah. But that's not what I was reviewing the movie for. I don't go in there looking for a good message. I go in there looking for a good movie. And when you don't give me a good movie and you give me one of the most atrocious pieces of shit I've seen this year, you're going to make it on my top 10 list. But no film was more annoying and more migraine-inducing, groaning throughout the whole short runtime, than Netflix's original Sextuplets. I liked Marlon Wayans in his Netflix film Naked. I like that movie. I enjoy A Haunted House. I enjoy Marlon Wayans. I like white chicks. I did not enjoy him in The Lady Killers, but you know what? Sextuplets, he plays all the siblings. It's this guy. He has a wife or something like that, and he is looking for his other 5 siblings because his mother never told him or something like that. And there's fat jokes in here. There's fart jokes galore. Fart jokes and fat jokes can work. Look at Rebel Wilson. She can make them work with the fat jokes, and fart jokes can work, but you just need to know when to time them. You need to know how to do other types of comedy instead of, screaming. Kevin Hart does that, but he's actually good at it. He can do different variety of roles. He can do The Upside. He can do this other shit. Marlon Wayans just does this very one-note style of acting. Just this annoying, over-the-top, stupid acting that is not funny at the very least. And is just stupid to no end. And I think that's why Eddie Murphy got away from Hollywood for a while, to one, take care of his boys, his kids, but also to think about what he wanted to do with the rest of his career when he eventually came back. Because Nutty Professor 2 was a low point. Imagine that was not good at all. Then he took a few years off. After that and Tower Heist, which I heard Tower Heist wasn't that bad, he came back with Mr. Church. I did not see Mr. Church, but Dolomite Is My Name, which I still have not seen yet. But this movie, Sextuplets, felt like a road trip. It was a road trip style Netflix comedy that we got 100 times over. That was not funny and annoying just to watch for however the hell long it was. It felt like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And it is the worst movie of 2019. There is my list of the worst movies of 2019. Stay tuned for 2 more 2019 lists. My most surprising movies of 2019 and my best movies of 2019. Both of those will be top 10 well, my best of the year will be top 10 lists, and I have no idea how many will be in my most surprising list, but I will see you guys for those videos very soon.